How hard do you do it? Just figure it out.
Roland, that's just a bad idea.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
All the way around, just a bad idea.
Dave,
If you were in the wilderness, yes, because that's something you need practice.
I am.
Here right now, this is not the venue. Here we go, let's correct that worksheet. Remember, the binomials can be in any order. One before the other. Number one, Ava Russell is I have a minus 4 in parentheses times a minus 1. Is that what you said? I couldn't quite make it out, but- Sam, number 2. Sam, you don't look like you have the same sheet I do you? It's a worksheet here. Ben, number 2.
K plus 4 times, in parentheses, times K minus 8.
Sure, yeah, let's just assume that everything's in parentheses. K minus 8, K plus 4. Again, you could have the K plus 4 first, it doesn't matter, as long as the minus 8 and plus 4 there. 3, Amelia?
N minus 4 times n plus 8.
Yeah, n minus 4 times n plus 8. 4, Katerina?
K plus 1 and K minus 6.
Correct, K plus 1, K minus 6. So, number 5,
R plus 2, R plus 1.
R plus 2, R plus 1. Number 6, David?
X plus 4, X plus 2.
X plus 4, X plus 2. 7, Hope?
K plus 5 plus K plus 6.
K minus 6. K minus 6, K plus 5. Number 8, L?
N plus 7, N minus 1.
N plus 7, N minus 1. Ev, 9.
I was in here.
Oh, did you get the sheet?
No.
Number 9, Jax.
I don't have a 9 on mine.
9, Hope, or 9, London.
X minus 8, X minus 3.
X minus 8, X minus 3. Jax, you weren't here on Friday?
I
And
was.
I would probably stop playing with that pen before your whole mouth becomes black. Not just your lips.
Oh.
Jax, oh my God.
Now you want to go to the bathroom and figure out
Jax, you might want to go to the Jax, you might want to go to the bathroom.
It does not. Cold
Jax,
water,
that's what happened to mine.
Children. One thing, children, it's always good to know when it comes to getting ink out of things, always use cold water. Warm
Cold water, Jax. Warm water.
Warm water.
9, London.
Oh, I just
I know, I got distracted though.
X minus 8, X minus 3.
X minus 8, X minus 3. 10, Zoe.
B plus n, B plus 4.
B plus 10, B plus 4. 11, Lex.
N plus 3, N plus 2.
N plus 2, N plus 3. Elijah, 12.
B plus 5, B plus 8.
B plus 5, B plus 8. 13, B plus 9, B plus 10. 14, you didn't have to do. 15, you didn't have to do. 16, you didn't have to do. 17, you didn't have to do. 18, X minus 3, X plus 1. X minus 3, X plus 1. 19, N minus 3, N plus 5. 20, N plus 3, N minus 7. 21, A plus 5, A plus 1. 22, V minus 8, B plus 10. B minus 8, B plus 10. 23, you didn't have to do, and 24, you didn't have to do. Hope!
What was 19?
19 was, again, N minus 3, N plus 5. Zoe!
What was 12?
12 was B plus 8, B plus 5. So,
Do they have to be in the same order?
anybody, did I address that before we start?
No.
Twice. Yeah, you, as long as you, they do, I mean, the plus 4 has to be the plus 4, and the minus 8 has to be the minus 8, but B plus 4 times B minus 8 would be the same. B minus 8 would be-
Is it still in your mouth?
Ava,
Fine.
13 should be V plus 9, V plus 10. Anyways, you weren't here for the assignment on Friday?
Was this not the paper?
That was the quiz.
Oh. I
That's the reason it says quiz.
Is that good to inhale?
Like is ink hazardous?
I think they would put labels on it if it wasn't. Can you go find the assignment?
Yeah.
Any other questions? We're doing kind of the same thing today with one little one little twist. So if you didn't get it, this will also lighten, shock, and amaze your friends. As with all math, it's always good to see where you started from. You get where you're going. Take a look, see at this. Surprised you don't keep all that in your math folder.
Does ink taste like anything?
No.
No, I tried it, it's sweet.
If you didn't take it. Jack, can you feel it? No.
Takes a look at this, please. Let's talk a little shop here. More factoring trinomials. This one here is nothing new. This is what we did for today. I just want to go over the easy one before we talk a little bit about the hard one. Okay, it's going to factor into two binomials. Remember, it's reverse FOIL. Where does the m squared come from? Well, that comes when you multiply an m times an m. You do not have a choice for that. The only way to get two things that end up being m squared is m times m. The next thing you always look at is your last term. How do you get negative 27? Well, negative 3, or negative 9, positive 3, or positive 9, negative 3, or 1 and 27, negative 1, positive 27, positive 1, negative 27. Only one of those combinations gives you that minus 6 when you combine them or put them together, and that would be this first one. And that's where m minus 9 times m plus 3 came from. That's what we did before. Now, to add a certain little twist to this, ladies and gentlemen, to add a certain little twist to that, you are now going to do problems that don't just have an m squared. The leading coefficient, or the whatever you want to call it, is going to be a number that has to be addressed here. Now, starting you off easy, because these do, the last one, if you look at the last one on the sheet, there's a 6 there. And the reason why the 6 is harder than the 2 is because when you have just a 2w squared, there's only one way to get 2w squared. Would be for one of them to be 2w and the other one to be w. The nice thing is there's only one way for that to happen. The 6, on the other hand, you could have 6 and 1 and 2 times 3. Okay, there's different with that last one on the problem, but we'll get to that later. Now, here is what you have to understand, Samuel. Okay, that because of the rules of binomials, okay, when you do those two outside terms, this, whatever number you pick to go in this spot, is going to get multiplied by 2. Okay, that didn't happen up here because there was no number. 3 times 1 is 1. So the nice thing here is there's only one way to get 3. 3 and 1 are your only choices for that. Okay, so if I put a 3 here and a 1 there, work with me here. When I put the two outside terms together, 2 times 3 is 6w, and 1 plus w is another 1w. That does not give me the 5w there. Okay, which means, this is all trial and error, you might want to try flipping the terms around. So put the 1 here, and put the 3 here, and does it work that way? Well, 2 times 1 is 2w, 3 times w is 3w, and 2w plus 3w does give you that term there. So the answer to this would be 2w plus 3 times w plus 1.
Okay.
Okay. Now, it is also to your favor, ladies and gentlemen, to look at some logical things that are happening here. The only way for this to be positive and for this to be positive is for both of your factors to be positive. Because if one of these was negative, if this was negative, one of these would have to be negative. Okay, if you end up with both positives, boom, that's going to be there. okay? If you end up with a negative and a positive, both of these are gonna have to be negative, because a negative times a negative would give you the positive, and then you combine to get the negative there. So you gotta kind of think ahead. Let's look at the next one. Again, they're both positive, so you can automatically assume that your two factors multiplied together have to be positive. Only way to get a positive there and a positive there. Okay, the only way to get 2b squared is to put a 2b, and a v there. And then you just have to understand whatever number you put here, try to find this middle term gets multiplied by 2. So let's say I put, well, you get 2, I multiply 2 times 1. That does not work because 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. And when I put those together, I don't get the 5 that I need. So I then have to try flipping them around. What if I put the 1 here and the 2 there? 2 times 2 is 4v. 1 times v is 1v. Sorry. And there you get the 5. So it has to be this way. Let me let you try number problem, the next one on your own. See if you come up. Again, there's only one way to get 2n squared. One has to be 2n and one has to be n. What times what gives you 12? A lot of combinations there. 1 and 12, 2 and 3, 4, like 2 and 6, 3 and 4. But you got to somehow come up with a negative 11. And I will tell you the only way to get a positive here and a negative there is for both of your things to be negative. Because you have to, the only way to get a positive is if you both be positive. Again, the only way to get a positive last term and a negative middle term is for them both to be equals, or subtraction thing. Only way. Can't happen any other way. Are we done? Ben, honey, in? So let's say, Ben, 2n and n, right? And what did you get? What goes next with the 2n? Negative 3, and this one would be negative 4. So you end up with, which does negative 3 times negative 4 gives you positive 12. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8n. Negative 3 times n is another negative 3n. Put those together, you do get your negative 11. Tell me what you put for the answer, and I'll tell you why it's not right.
Well, I didn't like think ahead, so I just put 2n minus 1 and n plus 12 gives me 11.
Okay, let's look at why that can't possibly happen. First of all, negative 1 times positive 12 does not give me a positive 12.
Oh, it has to equal the 12?
And it's equal everything.
Yeah, multiplied together, they have to equal this. Outside, insides have to give you that. In addition to that, now let's stop, look at this. To get this middle term, you multiply this times this, which is a 24n, and this would be minus 1n. You get a negative 23n middle term, is what you have there.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just a matter of coming up with this and this, and I say, hey, well, I'll give you a chance on this next one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's where things get a little dicey. This one's probably the toughest one, Samuel, because you have more than one option for this first one. Your two options are you can either have 2x times 3x, or you could have 6x times 1x. And again, there's nothing more than trial or error. You just have to figure out. The nice thing is you probably can figure out what times what gives you negative 56. They're probably not going to use 56 and 1. And they're probably not going to use 28 and 2. Well, let's just stick with 8 times 7 to get you 56. And see if you can figure out what combination gives you a plus 5 in the middle. Again, the only way to get a negative number here is for one to be negative, one to be positive. So you know one has to be negative, one has to be positive.
Okay, let's do this.
But there's like two variables.
And no, Soph made a good point. Whatever number you put here, Sophia, gets multiplied by 3. Whatever number you put here gets multiplied by 2. Trying to figure out that middle number. If that's what you're asking me. I've said this just takes a little bit of, it's like a puzzle, for those of you who are puzzle people. Jax, did you try something, or are you just?
I'm done.
One has to be positive, one has to be negative.
One has to, the only way to get a number here is for one to be positive, one to be negative. And I did narrow it down, you have 8 and 7 would be the two numbers I would use, although you could have tried 28 and 2 and 56 and 1, I don't think that's probably legitimized. And there's no easy way to do this, this is just simply looking at it and go, whoa, trial and error, this doesn't work. I mean, yeah. So Jax has got an answer for me. Jax, what'd you get?
2x plus 7,
Plus 7 times
3x minus 8.
3x minus 8. Now let's see if Jax is true. I agree, we get the first term, which is 6x squared, and the last term, which is minus 56. I multiply 2x minus times negative 8, I get negative 16x. I multiply 7 times 3, I get a positive 21. X. When you put those together, do you in fact get positive 5? Absolutely. Congratulations, Jack. Was that your first try?
Yeah.
Look at that. Nicely worked out for you. But again, had that not worked, you could have flipped those around, got your answer. Had that not worked, you'd have to go to this and find your answer for that. Problems, questions, concerns on that? Yes, Sophie?
What happened to the A?
Oh, I'm sorry, this should have been X. Oh, that's why you said 2 variables. That's my fault. It should have, I just typed it in there. No wonder, Sophia, you were like, you raised your hand and said, hey, you're psychotic. I'm asking about the variables, not the, no, that won't happen. Now, listen carefully, me on this. I'm gonna post, it's gonna be an IXL thing that you have to get 100. I don't believe they give you tough ones like this, I don't think. I did about 8 problems and I didn't get anything that was even remotely that hard. But before you do that, ladies and gentlemen, for the 4th time, and I am not allowing any questions on this because too often you come back and you see what I know, not what you know. I need to know who actually knows this stuff. Solving by substitution, elimination, and graphing. Obviously, the answer to number 4 has always been the same on every quiz, but number 5 can change up. I just need to see what you know. I picked easy ones, basically. And again, I need to see your work. Just because you know the answer, don't just write down the answer. I need to say where you substituted into the equation and how you get both of the letters. Jax, I would refrain from putting pens in my mouth after that last for you. I was refraining from putting, you don't think lead can get you?
No.
I need to know what you know on this. Exact same sort of quiz, and then I'll go post the IXL.
Jeffrey, you should put pen in your mouth.
Let me see it.
They do work out nicely, they do work out evenly, everybody's happy.
Ella, can you grab me a roll?
Ella, grab me one too.
Yeah, we have to get 100 on it. On the iPhone.
You have to get a smart, I don't think it'll take you that long, but I could be wrong.